Hi, I'm back again. I've finished all my leaves. I thought that I was going to leave this one just sketched, in the black pen, but because I'd accidentally painted this tulip up here, I thought it looked a bit silly by itself. So I've had a play, got my leaves all done, and I'm just working on the tulips now. So I thought I'll come back quickly and share with you where I'm headed with these. Again, I didn't use a pattern to cut it out. I haven't followed the lines exactly how I had them. I had fun painting them and drawing them when I did, so that's all right. They're covered up now, and I'm going to do the same thing with that. At one stage I thought that I wasn't going to because I was cranky with myself, but I've decided on doing that. So I've pinned a few bits here as well, but while I was stitching this I thought I'll come and share with you how I'm going about it. I'm using a red one now like the green one, just thought looked okay. No particular other reason. I'm just couching this thread on now. It's a Suspargo thread. That is an Eleganza Pearl 8. The colour is EZM29. As you can see, it's just that variegated pink and orange yellow colour that I quite like together. And I just thought it would give it, where I'd used wool on the leaves, I knew that that would be too heavy for the flowers. I've used a piece of dyed doily that I did a very long time ago as well. I've just been using little bits of that as, oh, can you see it? No, here we go. Little bits of that and some other fabric in this colourway that was, dyed, to add the bits and pieces. I quite like the sort of selvaged fluffy edge, a little bit more of that lace to just give it a highlight. Yeah, that's what I'm doing. So I thought I'll just come back and stitch with you for another little couple of minutes. Last time I said that it was 20 minutes, so now we'll see how long this one takes, but I did want to come back and just do a little bit more before I call it done with video. I will post a photo of the final thing on the Facebook site to those Stitched Vintage Treasures, which is the Facebook group that Corinne and Susanna began with Tia from Calm Creations for these projects. So yep, that's where I'll post the final photo. I back stitched down the side here, and then I'm not that fussed on it, and then I did some straight stitches, and I thought, oh, I think I might just go back to that idea. I think that'll I just think that looked a bit nicer, and it kind of reminded me then of the veins that are in tulip petals. So yeah, what I don't want this to be, wanted it to be a bit more stylized than realistic for this one. I haven't done a whole lot of this type of fabric collage. I haven't done a lot of it, so I'm quite enjoying doing it. While some of the pieces are a little bit tiny, I'm still enjoying the end result. And I think if you were doing it, you could just use any fabric really. I just happen to have this fabric here and thought I did pick out a few printed bits, but then when I found the dyed one, I thought, oh yeah, I think I'll go with that. I put a couple of little beads in here just as a little bit of a highlight. I didn't sort of want to make a big statement with the beads, but they're slightly bigger than I might have used. They're like a clear bead with a pink centre, so they're not a solid colour, which I just thought just gave it a little bit of light. So yeah, so I think that's pretty good. I like it. Like I said, if I like it, that's a good start, because I wouldn't keep it if I didn't like it. Okay, so the next one was when I started to lay this out. I thought that was, maybe I should turn the camera back on. So this bit of fabric here, I had some, the original page was a bit too long, so I thought I'll pull a bit of that off and put it in here. Might just help to tie it together. And then I found another doily that I had dyed and thought, oh, maybe I could use that because it's kind of in the same colourway. And what I thought was I'd just use the edge as that internal petal to come over the top of there. And so the way that I did it before was not very technical at all, but I know that I want to go from there to here with this edging. So I'm picking this bit of the scallop here that'll go there to there, and I know that I've kind of got to come in round. So it's not very big, but I know that it's got that rounded sort of shape on the outside of it. So fingers crossed this works, because sometimes things like this don't work. But yeah, that kind of looks a bit like a tulipy shape there. Can I do it again? Oh no, I want it to go that way, don't I? I want that inside. Well, I think I do. Maybe I don't on this side. Maybe I don't need to. All right, where did I cut the last bit off? I don't have to destroy the whole thing. I might have to. There, I think that's the longer. That's the longer one. Just to go in this way now. All right, fingers crossed again. Maybe. Maybe it's better on that way. All right, let's have another try. I think it's actually better that way. I thought I wanted that internal. All right, I'm going to cut another one to just see, just make a final decision. Yeah, it's definitely. And it really is just, I vaguely know what the shape looked like, so I think that's actually better. All right, will that move up a little bit? A teeny bit. Yeah, I think that's probably going to work. Good. Because it's painted underneath, I'm hoping by the time I've finished stitching that it won't look like there's a bit missing out of there. I've stitched the lace on with this with this red thread, just because I'm not doing that sort of knot because it comes undone. Because the tulip isn't white, I didn't think that what I'm trying to say is doing that little bit of red stitching, I don't think, sorry. The little bit of red stitching doesn't really matter too much, I don't think. Sorry, there's my big hand. It's another bit of lace that was a bit of trim that I found, and I thought in my little scrap box, and I thought that will do. Because there really are tiny weeny little bits, and I'm not doing myself any favours with these little bits, but I think that's what's making it look good, is because they are so little. I'm just starting from the inside and going out so that I can pull it in with the needle. And the red is there, but I don't think it's, I think it's okay. You can see it if, depending on which light you hold it under. And I might do the same thing with this piece here, in not stitching it with a straight stitch, but like a back stitch edging, but rather those long stitches. I hope my head's not in there. Just trying to get close, that's all. And I think because it's sitting in a book, these longer stitches won't be a problem with anything else. They're not going to get caught up on things, because there's nothing for it to get caught up on. Simple as that. Yeah, I think I need to do it like that. I think this isn't what I was thinking. Have another go. I can hear my dishwasher. I wonder if you can. We put it on after lunch, and I didn't notice it till everything went quiet, and then I went, oh, that wasn't what I was thinking of when I started recording. It's funny how you don't hear some noises till it does go quiet, and then it becomes a bit more obvious. Still not 100% sure I'm fussed on those lines. I think, I wonder if it's the doily with that edging that's disturbing my eye a bit. No, I'll keep going. Sometimes I've just got to look at things and make a final decision later. And if it's not what I wanted it to look like, then it's probably not going to be too hard to unpick. They're big stitches. But I need it to go through that as well, so otherwise it won't hold it down. But I had a look at some tulips, and they have those lines going up the petals that I thought might work in this instance. I know why that's like that, because I couched that thread. Forgot that I did that just then for this bit, but I don't think it needs two lots of edging. Does it look like a tulip? I don't know if it looks like a tulip, but hopefully it does. It was supposed to be black and white, and it wasn't. I could have done it again, I suppose, but I just didn't want to. I thought that it was going to look all right the way it was. Pins don't help the look of it, do they? All right, still need a bit of thread in there. Oh, I think it looks tulipy. Tulipy, if that's a word. Oh gosh, I've lost these little bits so many times. I brush my arm over it, and then the next thing they're all on the floor or stuck to me or stuck to the back or something. I walked away with a bit on my sleeve, and then in the kitchen found this thing on the floor, and I thought, what in the heck is that on the floor? It's a bit of fabric. Oops. Maybe what I'll do is just go really close to that edge and just do a few little stitches in there to hold it down. That might work okay. I thought I'd do the same thing at the bottom. Yeah, that's all right there. All right, one more in here. I think this side looks a bit better than the other. It's probably that short one at the top there. That's all right. I'm sure not every tulip is perfectly made, although they do look it sometimes, don't they? And I think being a little bit darker than these ones probably is good because, it's sort of set back in the background a little bit. Right, beads and things here. Now, this last one. All right, this is where I thought maybe I should come back and do it while I'm talking to you. I thought, because it's got that little frilly bit there, I thought this frayed edge might look all right. Hopefully it's not too big, but I'm going to give it a tuck in so that it looks like it's coming out of the centre there when I stitch it in. So that's the aim of what I'm looking for. Oh, I don't want those knots. Keep forgetting that they pull out of this rayon thread. But I'm so used to doing it like that I just do it automatically now. All right, hold it in there. Granddaughter told me it was time to cut my fingernails, but just right now it's helping. Funny little kid. I think you should cut your fingernails, Nana. Yes, I probably should. I suppose if it looks silly, I can just Just doing little stitches just to hold it in there because the other bits will come around. But I thought if it looks silly, I can trim it. Just so long as it's gathered in there, you won't see it. Alright, we'll see what that looks like when we've added everything else. So I thought for this bit in the middle here that I would use this piece of doily. Do I have another bit for the outside? Oh, white, that's it. Alright, so I'm going to put that one in there. So I'm just going to trim along the bottom here. This is my measuring and pattern making. Yes, I want the white on the outside. What I'm doing is looking at the shapes that I had here and considering which bit needs to go over which piece. I think this one is gonna just go over this one. Again, it was just lucky that I had that bit of doily that dyed that colour. When I went looking for bits of reddy orange that I wanted for the colour of the tulips, it was in amongst the other bits and pieces, and I thought, oh yeah, that'll be good. I'll try that. See how it goes. I thought about doing all of this embroidery before I actually stitched this one on, and I'm so glad that I did that because it really needs that extra bit of backing, helps to keep a bit of shape rather than sew it on afterwards. And I went over the edge here, so it was nice to include that. I'm just tucking those endy bits in where I've cut the doily, and make sure it won't fray away. So yeah, while I've lost the original design, I'm not really worrying about it. Like I said, I had fun drawing and painting with you guys, and I'm alright that it's not there anymore. Where's the bit that I had there? Is it that bit? No. That's what happened before I lost the bit that I had. Oh, here. Teeny weeny bit in there. Maybe not big enough anymore. I'll have another go at that. So that's what happens to calico. Once you've dyed it, you need to wash it, and it just looks like a bit of a rag afterwards. But that's all right. Yeah, I think we need. All right, so I'm kind of just, eyeballing it. I want it to come around like that. I want it to go out like that. Kind of looking at it at the same time as I'm cutting it. And Might just give it a little bit of a curl on the inside here, just a weeny bit. Just give it a little bit of shape. Yeah, I think that fluffy bit there is too long. I'll cut that back in a minute. And again, I think this has to be those long stitches that, I did here. I don't know. Can you hear my brain's thinking now? Let's just try it and see what it looks like. Because if not every edge is caught down, I don't think that matters. I've left a few edges off the leaves, not quite, I haven't gone around every single edge. Maybe it can come up to there. I wonder if it'll look like this when you see the final photo. I don't know. I don't know, because I'm going to probably play with these lines for a bit longer, because they're not exactly what I had in my head when I started to do it. I just didn't want to do that outline stitch. No, it's getting there. A little bit of perseverance, a few more stitches. The one good thing about this thread on a bobbin is it's going to last forever, so it doesn't really matter how many stitches I put in. I'm not trying to save thread by any stretch of imagination. Yeah, I think that's good. One more in here, and then I'm going to add a white highlight wherever that's gone. Oh yeah, I can see it, but I might actually get a white thread for that, because I'm not totally convinced that the red in the other bits looks all right. And if it needs a bit of red in it, I'll put it in. Good. This bit here, just to come round there. Yeah, I think it needs white. I might just use a bit of that, because it just happens to be sitting here. Bits of that red fabric everywhere. This need'll do. Sorry, you get my head? Because I'm hurrying now. I can feel my hands going fast. Oh, now I'm going to do that knot and everything. That will do. That will do. Fiddle, fiddle. Just checking I'm on the screen. Just checking. Yeah, this lace didn't like to be cut at all. It just ended up almost perishing before my eyes. Oh, I've got to do something about that. That looks silly. I thought it might have imitated that frilly edge, but it didn't. It just looks like, I don't know, it looks like a spider or something coming out of the top of it. It doesn't look like the top. Oh no, what? Get out of it. Very quiet today. Too busy concentrating. After this, I'm going to get onto that field notes journal of mine that I've been really procrastinating about from the start, and it's just because I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. But I think now that I've got these other couple of things out of my head that were half finished, that I might be able to give it a bit more thought now. I've also been thinking about doing something of mine that I did, and I had a couple of people ask about it and ask if there was a pattern, which there isn't, but I can show people how to make your own pattern for a little container to hold your threads, which hasn't been some. Well, we've done containers through the Roxy's Journal of Stitchery, but this is a different container to what other people have done, so I'm hoping that there might be some interest in that. And if there's not, well, I'll have just done another one for myself, and that's all right. Never can have too many of them. Right, I'm glad I did that in white. I might go back over those other bits so that you can't see the red bits of thread. That'll do, I think. Now, sort this fluff out. I think it's just too long. I just don't want a really straight edge either. That's my biggest problem. Oh well. It's a bit straight. It's a bit crooked. It's a bit ruled dear. I don't know that I've made any better job of that. I think it all has to go. Maybe the little black line underneath will just be enough to give it a little bit of definition. All right, do I need beads on it? Yeah, of course we need beads on it. What a silly question. What a silly question. All right, 2 more minutes, hopefully. 5 maybe, I don't know. I'm going as fast as I can. I'll be able to thread it when I go like that. Oh yes, good. Straight in. Yay. Yay. I might try some different coloured beads. See, and I did silly knots. Oh, I've got these little ones. These are cute. Teeny tiny. Everything's teeny tiny. Oh yeah, maybe them. I think I like them. They're so small you can't see them. Any more? No. Good. But where am I going to put them that makes... Maybe I should put them up in there. Otherwise you're not going to see them. Oh, will they go through the needle? There's another. Oh, and they did. Yay. Yeah. gave that a little bit of a sparkle up there. I think that looks quite good. Hopefully you can see that. I might add a couple more down here, just because, no other reason. Where's that? I'll have another couple, please. That's too many, but God, I can't believe they all went through that. Oh, the needle went through all of them. That was jolly lucky, but I might not put any beads on the middle one. I think that it can just cope without. Where do I put beads? No real plan about that. It's just where I think a little bit of sparkle might go a long way. This is a good beading needle. I need to hang on to this one because it's not one of those horrible bendy ones, but boy, these tiny little beads, there's no problem with it at all. Couple more here, and then I'll be done. And I'll call it a day. Thank you for watching. I can hear my husband coming in, so he better not talk. No, he's not going to talk to me, so that's good, because I didn't tell him I was filming. Get off you. Yeah, good-o. All right. Thank you again for tuning in. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I hope you've get inspired to do some tulips if you haven't done yours yet. Join us over on Corinne To Be Loved Treasures by Corinne, Vintage Blend Studio by Susanna, and a few other people are doing it too. Cool. Have a great day. Bye. Hi, this is Dawn. Welcome back to my channel. I'm just working on my tulips page for the Botanical Beauties project that Corinne and Susanna are inspiring us with. And I did some painting the other day. Still disappointed that I painted this one in because I didn't want to. But I have been working on some of this, so I thought before I go any further, I would just show you what I was doing. Tiny little bits of fabric that just take a little bit of patience to stitch down because they're a bit too small to pin. But that's okay. It's not a really hard job. I've been using a lot of my machine embroidery threads, the rayon ones, to do this project with, which you now can't see. And I've been doing a fair bit in this thread here, which is colour 452. It's a variegated greeny colour on a roll like this, similar to that one that I was using on the Alice, if you've watched that, but just slightly different. Anyway, you'll see me using them. I've added a few extra beads, a little bits of lace, little tiny weeny bits of fabric, and I think it's actually looking okay. So I was playing with this, and then I thought, oh, I better turn the camera on because if I get too far ahead, you won't know how on earth I did it. I did this leaf first and realised that all these two leaves should have been sitting underneath, so I'm trying to be a bit more mindful about that. Sorry. Oh, beg your pardon. I stitched the background down. I used some just the running Cancer style stitch around each of the blocks, stitch these down just to give it a bit of weight and push it back into the background. So, you know, while it's not lead light, it just gave me the inspiration of how I thought the background would be. This just happened to be some trim that I dyed the other day in a demonstration. Just happened to match. So yeah, that's you. I'm not sure whether you really can see. Goodness, I've got to be careful where I'm holding things, don't I? Nothing very complicated. So I do have some thread here that I thought that I would still keep using, but that was when I realised that I needed to do the leaf that was underneath first rather than the leaf that was on top first, which was a bit of a silly thing to do. Anyway, I hope you're all good. We're all good. It's Saturday today. Everybody seems to be busy in the family, and so I thought, right, I'm just going to have a little play today. This will be my little playing day for me because nobody else really needed me to do anything, so that was good. It's nice to be needed, but it's nice to... And I've just cut these slithers of fabric out with no pattern, just decided to try and just, cut bits out and see how they went, how they fitted. And I think that's an okay way to do things. If it was too long or too wide, I just sort of, have a vague idea of where my drawing was. And because I don't really want this to be accurate, it doesn't have to be an exact replication of anything botanical, it's fine. And so, yeah, and so then I'm choosing with this rayon thread to do quite long stitches. I thought that it might actually work in relation to something similar to my pen strokes, which was what I kind of had in my head. And so I'm not trying to do anything much different to that. I'm not trying to thread paint on it. I'm just, number one, laying stitches down to get the fabric to stay down. If I don't completely cover my drawings, then that's fine too, because it's, like I said, it's not my intention. This leaf here I've decided not to do anything with. I think it's probably in the impossible basket, so I'm not even going to try. And so yeah, I've just sort of done these long stitches that I thought was looking all right. I am thinking about where it might be darker and where it might be lighter, so it's not all just random. I am giving it a little bit of thought, and I think because this is actually behind the stem of the flower, and if there's something that's just not in the right spot, I just push it over with my needle till I get it in the right spot. So yeah, so where I think there might be shadow, I'm trying to have darker thread, and where there might be lighter thread. But by no means am I doing thread painting like I would have done in other areas. But I think the leaf has turned out, it's very organic looking. It's not probably not representational of a tulip leaf, but I think it looks all right. And I'm probably the only person that it matters to, because if I didn't like it, I would have to pull it out, but I think it looks okay. but it's just fiddly with tiny little bits of fabric, that's all. I was just trying to lay a little bit more down there because I just wanted it a bit darker. And it's quite fine thread, so you need to go over it a couple of times. Anyway, I hope you're all good. Did I ask you that already? Possibly. But we all are. It's a bit of a grey day. It looks like it's about to rain any minute. We've had really freezing cold mornings. Yesterday I went to pick up my grandson because he had the day with me because he's been unwell, and it was 1 degree all the way there and all the way back. But then the sun came out and it was absolutely gorgeous. So I don't know. I don't think it was very warm though. I didn't really go out much. He and I hung around the house, but he seemed to perk up in the afternoon, so that was good. By the time his mum came for him, it was all good. All right, I'm going to run out of that thread. But I've got a feeling that today we're not going to see that sunshine, and it was nowhere near as cold this morning. I don't know what it was, but it wasn't cold. It wasn't that freezing cold. Even the house was cold the other morning when I woke up, which isn't normal for here. The house usually stays warm after it's been heated, even overnight. But for some reason it cooled right down the other day. It obviously was cold outside. But I won't continue with this video for very much longer because I want to come back when I'm actually tackling the tulips. But I thought if you just see where I'm going with these leaves, this is just a piece of I don't know, silk lining or something that I dyed. Looked like that. Had a lot of variegation in it, so that's good. And then I don't know, other little bits of just stuff that I've got, not in my box of fabrics. I wouldn't even know what that other fabric was. It's just something green. So I'm doing these long stitches in all of the colours, not just the dark one. So just lightening up this other side. I had some other threads that I've been using. Just got this funny little stash of stuff here that I'm just trying to find things that actually looked like they might go in there. I think this bit is too big for this leaf. It's just, yeah. So I'm going to get rid of that bit. And then maybe look at something with that paler bit in. So I might cut it off there. And then I can bring it down. Just couch it on. And I'm couching with that long stitch as well, so that it becomes a part of the design, not just a couching stitch over another thread, which really that is all it is, but I just want it to be a part of it. So I think there'll be just probably this video in a couple of parts, and then that will be it for my tulips page. I don't think that there's much more that I will do other than finish doing this fabric, this applique. I don't think there'll be anything else that I do to it, and I'll be able to think about getting on to the next one, which is crocus. They remind me a little bit of tulips, so I'm hoping that I'll find a picture of something that won't look too much like what I've already done. But I do go looking. I have a little look around Pinterest and see what other people are doing, which is where I got the idea of doing this fabric applique. It wasn't my own. It's my own design, but I did see somebody else doing something with this fabric applique and threads and beads, and I thought, oh yeah, I can have a go at that. I've got enough of those fabrics, so it's always nice to have a look and then turn it off and then see what you come up with yourself. I think I might go over that stem of that flower. I wasn't going to, but I think this might look quite nice continuing on. There will be another leaf. This leaf goes over here and over here, so that's why it's not been done yet. I've got a friend who's holidaying overseas in the States at the moment, and we're all in a group message, and she messages us all at the end of the day, her day, which was their Friday night, and so those pinging noises is what you can hear. Everybody gets enthusiastic about the photos that she's sending back and what they're doing. Yeah, so I think this is going all right. I'm going to actually add a couple of beads here. I've just picked out a few beads and just picking them up randomly. I'm not, not really sort of planning too much in advance, but just, I guess, putting them where I think they could go, a bit intuitively, which doesn't always mean it works. It just means that I'm not planning it really. Oh, I thought those beads were not going to go on there then. That would have been annoying. And then I think I'll take some up through here. Yes, that tulip stalk is definitely going underneath. That decision's made. I'm just using the same thread, the rayon thread. I probably wouldn't normally, what did that just do? Tie itself in a little knot? I wouldn't normally use the rayon thread. Goodness, I don't know what it's doing. Probably shouldn't be using it now either. Saying I wouldn't normally, because I think the beads will cut it. If it was to be used on, I do not know what that's doing. It's got itself all in a fuss. How about I just put another stitch through it and pretend it's not there. Just going to try and get in get in there and see if I can get it to sit down, behave itself. There'll be another leaf there. That's all right. Let's just ignore that bit there. So what I was trying to say before I got in a tangle is that I wouldn't use rayon thread for beading normally, but it would, I think it would perish fairly quickly if there was any stress or strain put on it. But for this, it's not. It's going in a book. I think it'll be perfectly all right. Saves rethreading needles all the time when I'm doing this type of work. So yeah, I've cut out these scratchy bits of lace here from a larger piece that looked like that, and I just thought they would make a bit of highlight on those leaves, and it's all going to perish really. Let me see, is it going to just become nothing? Yep, that bit's no good. All right, let's try a bit of that one, which is just sort of stringy stuff. But I thought just in behind there that there might be a bit of light coming in. Need some more thread. Good, that'll just be exactly the right amount. It's a little bit hard to see threading this rayon thread. It's not the easiest one to thread, but it's pretty good. No, doesn't want to thread at all. She says threads when I'm not on camera. The knots sometimes come because the thread's got a bit of, spring in it. The knots can come undone. But like I said, on something like this, that's going to be protected in a book, and it will also be backed. The fabric will be backed with something else, with another page, and so I think mostly it'll be okay. But it was really just to give this leaf a bit more highlight, rather than, I could use white thread, but I just thought these little fussy bits of stuff just add a bit of interest really. A bit of a play with the needle, push it around, the thread pulls it in, and I think that will about do me for right now. The threads that I'm using are just whatever. I've got a collection of just fancy threads, that trims and braids and things that I've picked up along the way in my lifetime. I only pick it up if I like the colour of it. Rarely do I pick up something like that with that would have normally had a purpose other than I liked it. All right, you can hardly see it really, but I think it just adds a bit of interest. And so I'll stop right here and get a move on and come back and finish off once I get to the tulips with you. But yeah, I think that's starting to look quite good there. I don't mind all those little bits foofing around. Cool. Okay, be back in a minute.